this particular method, main method, is getting called every time whenever the programs begins the execution. So main method is a starting point of execution of any Java program. But here the thing to note is that whenever you are creating the object, you are calling to a special method or a special function which I think you cannot see it in this particular class. But still that function or method is available and that gets called, and that special function or the method is nothing but the constructor. Now constructor is special method or function from 2 3 aspects. There are number of aspects to the constructor, and we are going to see in detail as to what is constructor, why it is required, and all those things. But the main thing is that this constructor is already there whenever you are not writing it in a explicit manner. ओके, सो एक्सप्लिसिट नहीं लिखा, इसका मतलब क्या है कि आपको दिख नहीं रहा. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल सपोज दिस क्लास मेन इज देयर एंड देयर इज नो डेफिनेशन of constructor in this particular class, but still it exists and it is getting called whenever the main class will be instantiated. Whenever the class main will be instantiated, that class will be having a call to a default constructor. Okay, now before beginning to see what is the default constructor, what is a parameterized constructor, that means the type of constructor, we need to see what are the rules of it, what are the rules to define the constructor. The first and the foremost rule is that the name of constructor should be should be exactly same exactly same as the name of class. That is the first requirement, that the name of the constructor should be exactly the same as the name of class. Okay, then the second important rule is that it cannot have, it can't have any return type. Okay, it cannot return any, or it cannot be even void. Okay, and it is as good as the method. It is a special method. Okay, so these are the rules that the constructor should follow, that the name of the method should be exactly the same as the name of the class. And then you have the other rule says that you cannot have any return type. Okay, and then it can be a zero argument constructor, or it can be a parameterized constructor. So basically these are the rules that you need to keep in mind whenever you are going to program in Java. Okay, so these are the set of rules that you need to understand. Now moving further, you have to understand that why the constructor is although required. Okay, so constructors are, as I have said already, they are the special functions which are required or required for the object creation. ऑब्जेक्ट जब भी क्रिएट करना है हमें, तो हमें कंस्ट्रक्टर को कॉल देना ही पड़ता है, अदरवाइज वी कैनॉट मूव फर्दर. सो कॉल टू अ कंस्ट्रक्टर इज अ मस्ट. So these are the special functions which are required for object creation. That means whenever you are trying to create the object, you are ultimately creating or calling to the special function that is called as a uh, constructor, and it is always the new what you can say operator. This is a operator. New is a operator. So you are always going to create the constructor or call the constructor with the help of a new operator. Okay, and it is always a two-step activity. Okay, why? Because whenever you are calling to a constructor, your object gets initialized. Your object gets initialized. That means whenever you are declaring the variable as a instance variable, suppose I am declaring over here int I. Okay, suppose I am declaring over here int I, and here suppose I am declaring int j. Okay, now these are two different variable altogether. This is called as a local variable. Okay, and this is a instance variable. Instance variable. Now what is the meaning of instance variable? That always whenever the object is getting created, this will be the part of the instance. Object means ही instance. So instance का part रहने वाला है, या instance मतलब ही object. तो जब भी object create होगा तो all the instance variable will be part of the object. Okay, and the very task of the constructor is to initialize these variables. Okay, so all the instance variables will get initialized with their default value by default whenever you are calling to a constructor. But that is not the case here with the local variable. Whenever you are declaring the local variable and using that variable, suppose here I am using the local variable j, then particularly this point of time I will get the error. Okay, let us try to understand what kind of error we are getting. Okay, so see, I have just commented out everything over here. Okay, and I have kept this. Now this is a instance variable. Okay, and this is a local variable. Now whenever I am trying to build the program, this j variable will create the error. Why? Because it is a local variable, and all the local variable needs to be initialized explicitly by the user. But that is not the case with the instance variable. Suppose I want to print the value of I, then it will not create the error. Let us try to do that also. Okay, now here if I am saying I, but now from static if I am calling it, so I need to create the object. So I will say new main. This is the creation of anonymous object. So I am creating the anonymous object, and with the help of that I am trying to print the value of instance variable. Why? Because I am calling from the static method. ठीक है, स्टैटिक मेथड से कोई भी चीज को कॉल करना है तो यू नीड टू टेक द हेल्प ऑफ ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएशन, और दैट मेंबर शुड बी स्टैटिक इटसेल्फ. if I declare this static variable, no need to explicitly call the constructor. This is anonymous object. This is called as a creation of anonymous object. That means the object without name, but it is object. And with the help of this anonymous object I am trying to call the variable I. Okay, so first let us try to see. I will just comment out the variable j over here, and let us try to run what kind of error or output it provides. Okay, so as you can see, it has printed hello world 0. Hello world 0. Why? Because now the variable is getting initialized explicitly, implicitly, because there is a call to a constructor. Okay, this is nothing but a call to a constructor, but you can see that we hadn't programmatically explicitly written the constructor, but still the call to the constructor has gone and it has been successfully executed also. Okay, so this is an instance variable. Now let us try to run the same program for variable j, whether it is giving me the error or output. Now, as you can see that variable j might not have been initialized. As you can see here, I have declared the same way, int I, int j, but the place matters. Here int j or the variable j is a part of main method, and thus it is a local variable, and all the local variable needs to be initialized in a very explicit manner before utilizing it. If you comment it out, ये statement को अगर मैंने comment कर दिया, तो then the program will run exactly same without any error. Why? Because you are not using it. So what is the rule? Rule says that all the local variable needs to be explicitly initialized before utilizing. यहाँ पे मैं j का यूज कर रहा हूं, तो j का यूज करने से पहले मुझे उसको इनिशियलाइज करना है. That means even after this, if I provided the value j is equal to 20, then also it will work. Why? Because I have initialized it, I have given certain values, and that value will be utilized to output the things, as you can see, hello world 20. Okay, so local variable and instance variable are altogether different, and always keep in mind that the instance variable needs to be initialized, local variable needs to be initialized in a explicit manner before you can use it, but that is not the case with the instance variable. Okay, so I hope this concept is clear. Now whenever I am creating the object, as you can see, I have always called or use a new operator. Until and unless I create, I use the new operator, the object will not be getting created. Okay, now let us try to see what is the default constructor and what is a parameterized constructor. Okay, so the types of the constructor. तो टाइप्स ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्टर में दो टाइप के कंस्ट्रक्टर है. एक है डिफॉल्ट कंस्ट्रक्टर एंड सेकंड इज योर पैरामीटराइज्ड कंस्ट्रक्टर. Parameterized constructor, that means the constructor which is parameterized, having a parameter. Okay, now suppose I am declaring over here a simple class. Say I am saying class A. Okay, and if I just close it down, it is a blank class. Okay, but here I can create the object of this class. I can write, okay, object creation. Object creation कैसे करते हैं? It is a two-step activity. Suppose a, it is as good as writing int I. ओके, ट्राई टू कंपेयर दिस टू स्टेटमेंट. ए लिखना यानी इंट आई लिखना है. क्यों? बिकॉज इंट इज अ डिफॉल्ट वेरिएबल और डेटा टाइप विच इज ऑलरेडी अवेलेबल. ओके, आई इज द वेरिएबल नेम. At the same time, a is a user defined data type and small a is the name of the variable. So a, this is the first step. Okay, step 1. And step 2 would be a is equal to new a is equal to new a. So this is a call to a constructor. Okay, so call to a zero argument constructor, but as you can see our class a is totally blank. It does not have any coding, but still we will be able to call the constructor that is a default constructor of a. Okay, let us try to run this particular code and try to understand as to how this particular thing work. Okay, so let me just comment it down. These are not required as of now. Okay, we'll see how it is getting affected. So as you can see, the program has executed successfully. Why? Because although in class A, which is a blank class, we hadn't provided any constructor. Okay, but it is the duty of the compiler that the compiler will provide the default constructor for each and every class till the time you are not explicitly defining your own constructor. Okay, now you have seen that this code has executed successfully. Now let us try to change this code. Now let us try to write one constructor. Okay, so this is a constructor I am writing, and int I. Okay, suppose this is a constructor that I am writing and I will just keep it blank. Now the moment I am writing this particular line, this code will deny to execute, because the moment you provide any constructor, this is a parameterized constructor and this is called as a one argument constructor. ठीक है, वन आर्गुमेंट कंस्ट्रक्टर. सो वन आर्गुमेंट कंस्ट्रक्टर जैसे आपने एक्सप्लिसिटली लिखा, द सिस्टम विल स्टॉप प्रोवाइडिंग सपोर्ट फॉर जीरो आर्गुमेंट कंस्ट्रक्टर विच इज अ implicit support. It will provide till the time you are not defining any constructor. Just try to see again. Once again I will run this program. I have not written anything in class A, I have just commented it out. Okay, now the program is working fine. Now let me remove these comments and try to see what is the effect. The moment I am trying to remove the comment, I have provided the one argument constructor to the class, and the moment I am providing the one argument constructor in class A, it will stop supporting providing the implicit constructor which was there earlier, zero argument constructor. सो उसने सपोर्ट करना प्रोवाइड बंद कर दिया. व्हाई? बिकॉज zero argument constructor is provided to each and every class by the compiler till the time you are not writing any constructor. The moment you write one constructor, it may be a zero argument constructor or it may be a parameterized constructor. The moment you write any of the constructor inside your class, the support of providing the implicit constructor has been revoked by the system. Okay, so you cannot now call the zero argument constructor, you need to call a parameterized constructor. Now it will work. Okay, as you are not calling to the zero argument constructor and zero argument constructor is not there in your class, so this code will work fine. Okay, so I hope this default constructor and parameterized constructor is clear to you. Okay, then the third rule is that, just a second,